Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we have a weird one for you. So if you've been watching this channel for the past month or so, you know that X-Men is currently going through a relaunch over at Marvel. They're starting up all new titles. They've separated all the characters to different teams, different series, and it's really cool. I'm honestly liking it so far. For a lot of different reasons, major X-Men fans aren't really that into it, and I understand why. I was like that at first too, but the more that comes out, the more I'm liking it. The more I see this direction and the potential for it. So we've been covering all the major titles. You can check out all the videos before this one in this playlist here, and to my surprise, the Avengers series is actually part of it, which is really cool. So this is not a series that I was reading. I think I read the first 2 issues when they came out, and then I just kind of fell off the series. I just couldn't keep up with it. MacKay, the writer, is kind of hit or miss for me. You know, I know he's done good stuff that I've liked in the past, but there's a lot of things that, you know, aren't necessarily bad. I just don't care for, and this series thus far has been one of those works from him. So up to this point, I have not really been following the narrative. I'm going to do my best to recap what's all come before to affect what happens in this issue number 17, because Storm is in it, and she's eventually going to play a big role, it looks like, which is really cool. This Avengers team consists of some of the best characters. It's the best team that I think Marvel has put together for the Avengers in years. It has Captain Marvel, Captain America, Scarlet Witch and Vision, Thor, Iron Man, and Black Panther. So a lot of your usual characters, along with some other side characters that haven't been in the series for years. And I gotta say, that's so refreshing, because when I think of the Avengers, I don't want to see this or this or this. I think of the 60s. I think of the 70s. I think of what makes the Avengers the Avengers. The fact that anybody can join. Anybody can be on the team. That's what I've always loved about it. And that has been the case since the inception of the team. Literally everybody knows that when the Avengers first started, it was this little group. These were the founders of the team. And then Captain America came in as the leader. But what they don't know is that literally on the 16th issue number 16, they changed the team, scrapped it entirely, and brought in villains. The team went from these founders to all of them going on vacation and then having Captain America teamed up with former villains. So mixing it up like this is really cool to me, and to have Storm eventually joining that is really cool to me as well. So how does she join? How do they approach this, right? Because Storm has always been a leader character over at the X-Men. She can't just up and leave and join the Avengers. Well, the X-Men have been going through this whole Krakoa phase. They started their own island, they have their own home, they were secluded from humanity. It was all great until, much to the dismay of fans, Marvel decided to end that period on a less than favorable note, and now all the mutants are back amongst the humans in the human world of Earth. So really this issue is coming out of 2 different events: the fall of Krakoa, the mutants' home, and an event called Blood Hunt. Now, I did not read that event because not for me at all. Vampires are so boring, I don't understand. Why would you want to see super powered beings go up against vampires? What threat do they pose? I don't get it. I don't get the hype. But basically that's what it was, just vampires. Think of Secret Invasion, think of Marvel Zombies, but throw in vampires, that's it. Now obviously both of these events were very consequential for their own reasons, which they'll lay out here in a minute. So if you're a big Justice League fan, you've read the comics, or you remember the animated series from the early 2000s, you know that the Justice League, one of their most iconic bases was the Watchtower, the space station right above Earth. Well, now the Avengers kind of have that, except theirs is called the Impossible City. Not only is this a highly sophisticated base, but it also has a sentient AI. The city is the AI. So the Avengers are sitting around a table in the Impossible City, basically sulking and defeated. Carol says, "There's something we need to talk about. We failed." And T'Challa is sitting there with his arms crossed saying, "I disagree." She's like, "Well, I'd like to hear your reasoning, T'Challa." He's like, "The sun shines again. The world is still spinning. People are still alive and thriving. We did what we needed to do. The blood hunt, sure, was messy and difficult, but we did it. We did defeat them." And Carol gets really intense, saying it never should have happened in the first place. We never should have allowed it to happen. It should have never gotten to that point. Thousands of people died. Scarlet Witch holds a hand out and says, "But billions were saved." Carol, "We're talking about an extinction level event that we stopped." Carol says, "We're the Avengers, Wanda. That doesn't mean anything. Extinction level events are what we do. It's the job. We owe this world if we're gonna call ourselves Avengers. And thousands dead instead of billions? That's not a win. Close enough is not enough." And then she starts rattling off some of the other things that happened, some of the ramifications of these events, saying, "And on top of that, Dr. Doom is the Sorcerer Supreme. Spider-Man is a vampire." And she walks off in frustration, groaning, before Captain America buries his face in his hand, and Tony comes up to him saying, "Just take 5, everybody. I'll go talk to her." And after he walks off, Sam looks up at everyone still at the table and mutters, "She's right, though." We then follow Tony on his way to talk to Carol, saying, "I bet you want a drink right now." She's like, "Yeah, I do. I always do. That's the problem. It's how I know I'm right. I'm always repeating the 12 steps. I'm always starting over. That's how I know that I didn't do enough. None of us did. If I felt satisfied with the work that I was doing. Why would I still want to drink? And Tony comes out of his suit with sunglasses on saying, hey, don't I know it? I'm the one that read the 12 steps to you in the first place. And it's as your sponsor that I'm gonna ask you this. Is this really about moral inventory? Or are you trading one addiction for another? She's like, run that by me one more time. He sits down next to her and says, addicts know about guilt, but guilt can be its own addiction. And it goes down real easy because it feels like you're doing right. Don't get so caught up in trying to be a hero that it turns you into a villain in your own eyes. We then see how all the other Avengers are dealing with the grief and the guilt. T'Challa talks to the city. Scarlet Witch goes out to talk about it with Vision in his synthetic garden that he's been building with the AI. Thor eats in isolation, but Captain America goes to Storm, stepping through a portal that takes him to a rooftop in Atlanta. Sam says, thanks for agreeing to meet me. She's like, it's been too long, Sam, and we've both been through some messy times. But what brings you here? I wanted to talk to you about something. Do you feel like flying? She's like, oh, Sam, I always feel like flying. And they take off in the air, soaring side by side. What is it, Sam? She says, pulling ahead of him. You look troubled. Avengers business, he answers. We're trying to figure out if we failed the world, specifically during the blood hunt. She's like, hardly something for me to weigh in on. He's like, just humor me, please. I could use an outside perspective. She's like, fine. Were there any warnings that you ignored? I don't think so, he says. Did you fight back with any reservations? He's like, none whatsoever. Well, then, to my mind, you and the Avengers did everything you could do. It was a terrible time. But you and I were no strangers to terrible times. I fought in a war on an alien world, Sam. I know that even winning can sometimes feel like a loss. It's a hard truth, but a truth nonetheless. Sometimes you just can't save everybody. But that doesn't mean you don't try. If it means your blood on the ground, if it means your soul leaving your body, no matter what, you try. You do everything that you can do, and that's all that you can do. He takes in what she's saying and says, it was just a lot easier when I was Falcon. Being Captain America, it's something else entirely. It's no small thing to wear a flag, Sam, she says. It carries meaning, both good and bad, but you wear it well. Thank you, he says. How was that for a pep talk? Put your mind at ease, she says. About that, yeah. But still, doesn't change the fact that we failed. We're the Avengers. We stand for everyone and everything on this planet. Not just humans, synthetics, Atlanteans, even mutants. We should never have let Krakoa fall the way it did. She stops him there for a second and says, look, not even my entire species could stop the fall of Krakoa. It's something that happens. I don't know what the Avengers could have done differently than all of us could have. He's like, doesn't matter. We're the Avengers. The warnings were there and we didn't do anything. We had reservations. And like you just said, if you're not fighting without reservations, if you're ignoring signs that someone needs your help, then you're not doing everything you can do. And if someone dies because you're not doing everything that you can do, then you failed and it's your fault. That's what you just said. The Avengers, we need to do better. We have to stand for mutants the same way we do for everybody else. We need mutant representation. We need a mutant voice. We need you, Storm. I'd like for you to be that voice for us, to be the mutant that keeps us in check, keeps us representing your people. Storm, I would like you to join the Avengers. And just then, an international broadcast from Hyperion starts playing on all devices, and he gives this long speech that I won't even get into because there's so much context behind it, but basically he's having kind of a mental crisis, a mental breakdown. You know, he's from a different world, a different dimension, and so having lived in that one, and having lived in this one, he's kind of having a crisis of faith, believing that that world was a lie, but also believing that this world was a lie because this is not his home. So he's like, so I'm just gonna end both of them. I don't mean this as a threat. I don't say it to scare you. I tell you this because it's a fact. Because I want you to make peace with whatever you need to before the world is over. Before I take it from you. Before I kill you all. Figure out your situations in your last moments. Before it's all over. Let yourselves have the peace that I never could give myself. Hyperion out. So with that crazy random ending, it sets up a huge fight that Storm is now going to be a part of. Because it's not just going to be Hyperion versus the Avengers. It's going to be Storm versus Hyperion. Her proving her worth in the next issue. Which is really exciting. And I'm really curious, is this kind of a fake out thing where they're just gonna have her kind of do a guest spot? You know, is she not gonna accept the offer, or is she actually gonna be a full-time member? That's really interesting to me. So if you guys want me to continue this arc and cover the whole story and keep going with the series as part of the new X-Men relaunch, because Storm might be over here now, let me know down in the comments below. Tell me whether or not I should make more videos on this. Like the video if you enjoyed so I know, subscribe if you haven't already, and you want more X-Men videos. We're gonna keep putting them out. But yeah, that is the video. Thank you for watching.